Good morning, McGee. I am pleased to have Cindy Jensen with me today. She is the circuit clerk for Simpson County and has been for several years now. I don't think of her having been just for the last few years because she's been in that office so many years. But she is here with me today to speak a little bit about the election, talk about some different things that are coming up, and maybe answer some questions that you might have concerning voting in our August the 2nd election. Thank you for coming, Cindy.
Thank you for having me.
I've been interested to, I got notification that the absentee ballots were ready. Tell us how you vote absentee.
Well, first of all, if you're eligible to vote absentee, some of the reasons that you may be eligible will be that you're going to be out of town on election day, or if you have a physical disability, or if you're 65 years of age or older. Those people are eligible to vote absentee, and you can come into my office. We're open, of course, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We will also be open this Saturday, July the 23rd, from 9 to 12. Next week we'll be there, and then the following Saturday, July the 30th, is the deadline for voting absentee, and we will also be open from 9 to 12 that day. But 12, that Saturday at noon is the deadline for voting absentee. And if you're not able to come into the office, you can ask for an absentee ballot by mail. Just call the office yourself, or either have a family member to call and request an absentee ballot, and we will be glad to get you one in the mail. And it has instructions on how to use the absentee and how to process it. So.
You know, I always wondered who could vote absentee, because from my years at the post office, I would see these absentee ballots coming in.
Right.
And I thought, now how can this person vote absentee? And I really thought it was like, I don't know, some secret thing. You had to be whatever, I don't know. But it's interesting to know what are the qualifications for absentee voting.
Right.
I also got my voter registration card in the mail.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. The purpose in our mailing our voter registration cards was because we wanted everybody in the county to take a look at their voter registration and make sure that their address was correct. A lot of times people will move and not tell us that they've moved. We had a lot returned because we don't have their correct mailing address. Maybe they have a P.O. box. Also, people have married and their names have changed and they have not notified our office. They do not have to have your voter registration card in order to be eligible to vote. If you have voted in the past, you will still be able to vote. But if you did not receive a voter registration card, it would be good for you to call the office and let us find out what happened. It may have been returned in the mail.
Well, I keep referring back to the years at the post office, but that is so much of what my life was for a while, and I was astounded at the number of things we received from the county that were returned for wrong addresses. It is amazing, and I think this is a great idea to do this because, and I was interesting to me to know that you don't have to have the card, because when I got my card, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to keep up with something else because I thought I won't get there. I
think a lot of the rumor had been that you had to have this card in order to vote, and that is not true as of right now. Mostly we just did it as a service to the public so that they could check their voter registration, and let's get these changes made, because I know that when people go to the polls, they don't like to vote affidavit ballot, but sometimes they have to. And if they looked at their information and we got it corrected before the deadline on July the 2nd, then that maybe kept a few people from voting affidavit.
Well, now explain to me a little bit, when you say affidavit ballot, what are you talking about?
When you go to the polls to vote, if for some reason your name is not in the poll books, you could possibly be in the back of the poll books marked as an inactive voter. In order to be an inactive voter, something has occurred, such as maybe we didn't have your correct P.O. box and we mailed you a jury summons. And the jury summons came back in the mail, and so our election commissioners mark you inactive, and then that way when you go to the polls to vote, it will force you to give us your correct mailing address, because you will vote an affidavit, which is all it is a paper ballot that you vote, and you put it in an envelope, and in that envelope require you to give your correct mailing address. And so once we get that in the office, the election commissioners verify that you are registered, and they will mark you active again, and then you won't have to vote affidavit the next time.
Tell us a little more about what's going on in your office. What have you feel like you've accomplished this last 4 years?
I think that, of course, you know, with our office, we are bound to follow the laws of the state, and there's not a lot of openness for like change in policy. So of course, you know, we've implemented the new election laws that we have. I'm still constantly trying to get our records more on computer. I recently had an addition to our bookkeeping system, which helps us keep up with who's paid their fines, who hasn't, because, you know, as circuit clerk, I'm required to file that each September 30th of who still owes fines and what's uncollectible, and that will help us with that. Also, since I've been clerk, I have become a passport acceptance agent, and that, I think, was important, because before then you had to go to Jackson, or you had to go to another county to get a passport, and with the new 9/11 rules and everyone pretty much having to have a passport, we just wanted to make it more convenient for the Simpson County people and really surrounding counties to come in to get their applications from us. We process them and mail them on to the lockbox in Philadelphia, where they eventually will receive a passport.
I thought that was great when you did the passport,
Right.
because it was difficult. It's like you said, you couldn't get one around here.
Right.
Now, I do know we have it at our Magee post
That's
office.
true.
I'm not sure about other ones, but you had it before. I believe we even got it here in Magee.
I think so. And of course, you know, that's good that they have it there too. That way, people can have
Right.
two places.
Right.
But we have so many offshore people now that have to have a passport. Not to mention, you know, our kids when they get ready to go on those senior trips, and then those lucky retirees that get to go on those cruises. One day we'll talk about that. But you know, we just wanted to have that service to make it more convenient.
I keep fussing at all my friends about, do you have your passport? Do you have your
That's right.
passport?
That's
Because you can't get on these cruise ships, or you can't
can't.
go these places anymore, and it's going to become a necessity.
And it takes 4 to 6 weeks to
Right.
get that passport
That's
without
right.
having to pay an additional fee to expedite it. So, you know, if you're thinking about possibly taking a trip, I would say go ahead and apply and get that passport.
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for this information. I think you've given us a lot of great thoughts and ideas, and maybe it'll push you to get that passport. Maybe it'll push you to absentee vote if you're not going to be there on election day on the 2nd. We look forward to seeing you at the polls, and thank you, Cindy, for giving us your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.